On Get Up, and Joe Fortenbaugh is here, our betting expert, with some of the best bets looking ahead to this NFL weekend with our brand new partners at DraftKings Sportsbook. Let's start with a very interesting game. Eagles are kind of sliding.
Yeah.
If the Raiders aren't the remedy, then I don't know what's going to be. What's the play here?
I take the Raiders plus the 11.5. We're asking the Eagles to not only win, but to win by margin. It's not something they do. Only one victory this year out of 8 has come by more than 7 points. Jalen Hurts against man coverage, fantastic. Jalen Hurts against zone coverage, terrible. Guess what? Raiders play the 8th most amount of zone coverage of anyone in the NFL. And Greeny, get this, if we're down 14 late, we know Pete Carroll will kick the field goal to get inside the number. We just saw it last week.
I like that one. Huge game, Bills and Patriots. What are you looking at there?
Cheap money line on Buffalo, so let's get the spread out of there and just lay the minus 120 on the Bills to win the game. First meeting between these two, Buffalo had 3 turnovers and 11 penalties, and it still required a game-winning field goal from the Patriots. Can they count on all that happening again? By the way, outside of beating Allen, these are the quarterbacks the Patriots have beaten this year. Spencer Rattler, Dylan Gabriel, Justin Fields, Ward, Dart, Tua, Bryce Young, Penix, Flacco, Mayfield. It goes on and on. At some point, the Patriots are going to be overvalued. This is the game.
Okay, and then one more. How about the Browns and Bears in frigid Chicago?
I'll take Cleveland plus the 7.5. This is what we call a sandwich spot for the Bears. You're off a huge game against the Packers. You got a huge game against the Packers on deck. Sandwiched in between is this non-conference game against the bottom feeder in the Cleveland Browns. Total's 38.5 in this game, so the 7.5 in our pocket, very valuable. Bears defense not only banged up, not as good as the numbers indicate. They've been thriving on those turnovers. If they don't get them, they're not going to cover the number.
Okay, and one of the reasons the number is so low is because of the weather. The legendary weatherman in Chicago is Tom Skilling all those years, and so I will channel my inner Tom Skilling and tell you it's going to be freezing at Soldier Field. At kickoff, the actual temperature will be 10 degrees, winds 15 to 20 miles an hour. The feels-like temperature will be -5. So we can deal with the weather side of this, and then we can deal with the Shedeur of it all. Yeah. Harry Douglas, Joe Thomas, the legendary Cleveland Brown, said he thinks this little stretch here are the most important 4 games the Browns have played in a very long time because they will see what they have in the quarterback. What do you think of that statement?
And I like it, and I definitely think it's the most important for Shedeur Sanders. You look at the 4 opponents that they have, and 3 of them currently right now are in a slot to make the playoffs. When you look at the Chicago Bears, the Buffalo Bills, and the Pittsburgh Steelers, but a guy in Shedeur Sanders who has given everyone on this roster hope. And J-Mac, when you have a quarterback that can go out there and throw the football downfield and throw for over 300 yards and have touchdown passes, something that you are foreign to seeing this entire season, it gives you a sense of hope that you guys have a chance every single time that you step out there on that football field because the quarterback can get it to the receivers, the tight ends. But I think in this matchup, he's going to need that run game with Quinshon Judkins to be an assistance to him because it's going to be so cold.
So Joe Thomas is excited for it, and candidly, I'm excited for it. But Peter, you don't think that – what is it you're going to tell us about this Browns situation?
I'm a realist. I think we watched Shedeur, and he was the offensive rookie of the week, and we're doing flips and saying he's the guy. But I have had no indication from anyone in Cleveland or publicly from the Cleveland front office or coaching staff that they believe Shedeur is the guy. So, yes, these games matter, and it's good for Shedeur. But I don't know if Shedeur lights it up if he's necessarily going into the offseason as the firm #1 in Cleveland. And guess what? That's okay because I believe there would be a massive trade market for a guy on a 5th-round salary and someone who has actually shown in NFL games that he can be the best player on the field, which he was last week.
So maybe this is actually an audition for Shedeur for 20 other teams in the National Football League who need a quarterback.
Listen, Shedeur was a 5th-round draft pick. I was a 6th-rounder. When you're a late-round guy, the truth of the matter is you don't know when your opportunity is going to come to prove that you belong in the NFL. Shedeur's opportunity came in year 1, and it's happening right now. In these last 4 games, to your point, the teams that they're playing against, if he can go out there and put up a good performance in the offseason, there isn't a ton of free agent quarterbacks. Daniel Jones just tore his Achilles. Don't know when he's going to be back. Shedeur could put his name at the top of the list for a team that can possibly make a trade, to Schraig's point, to get him over there to come compete. Because nothing has told us that the Cleveland Browns, to everything we're saying that Joe Thomas said, do the Cleveland Browns, does Andrew Berry, does General Manager
every move they have made from the second they drafted him suggests that they don't have any interest in him being
well,
their
number
guy.
one, Greeny, I don't trust them making the best decision for the quarterback position, period. And this goes all the way back to
Bernie
Kosar and all those guys. Look at Baker Mayfield right now with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They gave up on him. They started Joe Flacco this year. They ended up trading him. Dylan Gabriel, they allowed to be the quarterback. Now you're on Shedeur. Yeah. It's quarterback after quarterback after quarterback in Cleveland, so I don't trust him to make the right decision.
I mean, I had a front row seat for that for 7 years in the carousel that they had, but like as an undrafted free agent, you're a 6th-round draft pick. Perception is reality, and sometimes it's hard to get rid of that scarlet letter of how people perceive you coming in. They might say, this is nice, but he can't be a franchise quarterback. And it's going to be hard. They're going to be hard-pressed if they have a high pick to pass by Mendoza and to pass by Moore, because Stefanski's never picked his own quarterback. I think Deshaun Watson was forced on him. So this is opportunity. If you believe in the coach, 2-time coach of the year, he's going to have an opportunity to maybe pick his franchise quarterback. It's going to be hard-pressed. So I think – And if you ask Shedeur, the reason why he told Baltimore not to pick him because he wanted to be a starter. So if they draft the 1st-round draft pick, I think it's going to facilitate and put the wheels in motion to get the trade.
The coach, a guy like Stefanski, who's coach of the year and has been such a treasured offensive mind, he's going to have a large say. Kyle Shanahan laid on the line and was like, Brock Purdy's our guy. Bill Belichick laid on the line, Tom Brady's our guy.
Yeah.
If Stefanski's not the one saying, Shedeur's my guy, they're going to open that up and they're going to discuss at the end of the season, okay, what do we have to do at quarterback? He's not going to win anything in print in these next 4 weeks.
You got to be full-bloom love for Shedeur to pass by two prospects and the ability to have control for 5 years.
If indeed they wind up in that spot. I mean, if they win a game or two, that's going to cease to be.
That's not anti-Shedeur. That's just the Browns don't.
The Giants have messed it up. The Giants are going to win their last.
I mean, what would it cost in a trade if the Jets could get Shedeur Sanders for 4th-round?
But they should have drafted him in the first.
He's a good question though. If the Jets don't have the first pick and they say a 3rd-round pick for Shedeur,
do it, right? Third, you do it.
Hell yes. It's a way better option than anything else that they are looking at right now. I mean, I think a lot of teams.
It would be a market for him.
There will be a market for him. So we'll see. I hope that he plays well this weekend. We'll see. We'll dive into the
5-year layoff. It's possible because 3rd stringer Riley Leonard is nursing a knee injury. There's another quarterback in his 40s, Aaron Rodgers, who talked about Rivers' decision to come back today.
I'm not the oldest guy in the league. I love that. It's pretty incredible, though, because he's been out for, I believe, 4 full seasons, plus this part of this season. I was laughing because a couple of my buddies hit me up asking what I would do in that situation, and I said, without missing a beat, I'm retired. I'm staying retired. So big credit to Phil. I've been a fan of his forever.
Well, Joe Burrow is famously not 44, but with all the injuries to his body, it probably feels that way. The 29-year-old had his rookie season cut short by a knee injury, missed a chunk of 2023 with a wrist issue, has played in only 4 games this year because of turf toe. And that's what Joe Cool's looking for, is to have some more fun. Listen to this.
If I want to keep doing this, I have to have fun doing it. I've been through a lot, and if it's not fun, then what am I doing it for? I'm not sure there was a singular moment or time. It's just a reflection on a lot of things that I've done and been through in my career. I think I've been through more than most, and certainly not easy on the brain or the body, so just trying to have fun doing it again.
Senior NFL insider Adam Schefter. Now, Shefty, I feel like the whole NFL landscape is just doing like emoji eyes. Like, wait, what? What are you hearing about Burrow's future after that very cryptic conversation?
Ellie, you mentioned that he's 29. He turned 29 yesterday. Yesterday was his birthday, and I think like many people on their birthdays, you begin to get a little bit reflective, and you think about what you've been through, and you think about what's ahead. And I think that was Joe Burrow's way of publicly talking out loud, wondering what's ahead when this looks like it could be the 3rd straight season the Bengals will miss the playoffs. I could tell you that it's hard to know exactly what he meant by all this. Nobody really knows except Joe Burrow himself, but I can tell you that there are many people across the National Football League that noticed it, because there were teams that were texting about it, there were coaches that were commenting on it, there were teams with quarterback questions and needs that were intrigued by it. So Joe Burrow has everybody's interest by the comments he made on his 29th birthday yesterday, when he seemed to be in a rather reflective mood.
Yeah, I mean, for what it's worth, he is under contract with Cincinnati through the 2029 season, but alas, A lot of salivating happening on social media about what could be if he was to leave the Bengals. The Bengals actually host the Ravens on Sunday. So, Adam, take us through some injury updates and start right there with Lamar Jackson.
He was back at practice today, Elle, and this has become a weekly pattern where Lamar Jackson doesn't practice on Wednesday, returns to practice on Thursday. Once again, that was the pattern this upcoming week, and Lamar Jackson is expected to be out there Sunday against Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals as the Ravens make another charge to try to take over that division. Meanwhile, Green Bay Packers running back Josh Jacobs has not practiced this week. His knee swelled up in the second half of the game against the Chicago Bears on Sunday. The knee has been bothering him since the Packers game at MetLife Stadium earlier this year, so they're trying to rest it, and he considers himself day to day for the time being. And the Cowboys wide receiver, CeeDee Lamb, was back at practice today, practicing in what the team said is in full. Now, he's still in concussion protocol, but the fact that he was back at practice in full tells you that he is tracking to play Sunday night against the Minnesota Vikings. We'll see if he can get through that final hurdle of clearing protocol. And then, of course, there's the injury to TJ Watt, the Steelers' standout pass rusher. He was getting treatment yesterday in the Steelers' training room, somehow suffered a lung injury, went to the hospital, spent the night in the hospital. It sounds like his availability for Monday night's game against the Miami Dolphins is in doubt at best right now. And it certainly sounds like we've seen some of these injuries before. You remember when Tyrod Taylor was playing quarterback for the Chargers, and right before the game, one of the trainers punctured his lung before he went out there. Obviously, TJ Watt is dealing with something like that right now. The Steelers have been a little bit vague about it, but certainly his status for Monday night right now is in doubt.
And maybe an unbelievable record. Shefty, we throw out a lot of like fun facts, right, and records, and not all of them are eye-popping. This one is. The Steelers have won a record 22 consecutive home games on Monday Night Football. It seems almost